and the Community Care Network for having me. It's a great honor and a privilege to be able to share with you today. I grew up in Appalachian, and I was a teacher at Tioga Middle School for 15 years. 2 years ago, I accepted a call to go into full-time ministry at Pine Brook Camp in Western Massachusetts. I'm currently working as the guest services director, but I also still work with children and youth through our summer camp programs and our inner city outreach program. I am so grateful for the history that I have here and for so many good years in this family community of Nichols. I'm excited to be back here and to see so many familiar faces and to be able to share some thoughts with you about this special day that we call Flag Day. I thought I'd follow suit with what the students were asked to do when they wrote their stories, their poems, or colored their pictures for this occasion. They were all asked a very specific question: what does the flag mean to me? For many years, I asked my students that question and asked them to think about their answers and to write their thoughts down. I've read and I've heard many stories and ideas that are very carefully and intentionally thought out, some very personal stories and some factual details. That one question carries a lot of weight and can lead to many different thoughts, perspectives, and feelings. After so many years of hearing and reading what others had to say, I finally posed that question to myself: what does the flag mean to me? Who knew that 4 simple letters, all put together, could have such a huge and profound meaning? I started with the letter F, freedom. We are so blessed and so fortunate to have so many freedoms in our country. The freedom to speak, the freedom to do and just be whoever or whatever we choose. The freedom of assembly, like gathering here today to honor this magnificent symbol. The freedom of religion and beliefs. The freedoms that many countries aren't privileged to have. Our flag represents all of our freedoms. After all, we are considered the land of the free. L, loyalty. The flag itself is a very loyal symbol. It's what we look for after wars or disasters. It's the one thing that we look to still be standing, to show our resolve. There's loyalty from all of those that serve our country in the military, fighting to protect each of us and protect our freedoms. There should be loyalty in each of us to stand up for what is right and just and honor those who are fighting to protect us and to protect our freedom in other parts of the world. The flag is a loyal sight in spite of tragedy or destruction. It can bring comfort where there is sadness and a sense of pride in all that we are and will be. A, ancestors. When we think of ancestors, we typically think of history and how that's made us who we are today, either as a country or as an individual. The origin of the flag dates back to the 1700s, and it has a unique place in our history. I can think of numerous times when the flag has been flown to show something of significance. For example, when Neil Armstrong landed on the moon, the picture that I always envision is of him standing there with the flag right next to him. When wars have ended, I envision pictures of the flag blowing on the battlefield to show that we came, we conquered, and that we're still here. When the tragedy of September 11th occurred, what did the firefighters raise above the rubble? The flag. Before sporting events, the respect is given to the flag. The list just goes on, and I'm sure many of you could list many more. One thing remains: the flag has been one of the most widely recognized symbols of America and America's freedom since long ago and continues to be today. G, grace. What do we think of when we think of grace? Most commonly, we think of elegance or refinement of movement. You may think of a dancer and how their movements are smooth and graceful. There's another meaning that I have to tell you because I was an English teacher. As a verb, and it's an action that means to do honor or credit to someone or something by one's presence. The synonyms are distinguish and dignify. That is the flag. Every time we see it flying, it produces these feelings. That is why we respect it, celebrate it, and appreciate it. Students, as you think about the meaning of this day and the emotions that the flag brings up for you, I want you to always remember that your freedom is your voice. You are important and you are our future. I want to encourage you today to continue pursuing your dreams. Finish the hard work of schooling that's set before you, and know that you can do anything you set your minds to. Each one of you has some kind of special gift, talent, or ability. Make the best of it. Have confidence in yourself and in each other. If you're struggling or having a hard time, reach out and use your right to speak to talk to a respected adult and develop a strong relationship that can help move you forward. Your community and your school have many great role models that can help you achieve your best. President Ronald Reagan once said in his Flag Day speech, "Every time we place our hand over our heart and pledge allegiance to the flag, we'll be reminded that our most precious inheritance is freedom, and that history has bestowed on our nation the unique responsibility for its protection." I'd like to pay particular attention to that last phrase. With this freedom comes a huge responsibility for each and every one of us. A responsibility to allow each person around us to enjoy their freedoms, even if what they think, do, say, or believe differs from us. To not bring conflict, but bring peace to our homes, our schools, our community, and our relationships. I see a great need today to embrace these gifts and freedoms, to accept the differences in one another and come together, just as the pledge to our flag states. One nation under God. That is what our country was built on, and what our country, communities, and families need to continue to stand firm on. When this happens, then we will be honoring everything the flag stands for and those that have sacrificed for us. In light of today's events, I would just like to take a moment of silence. Thank you.
Nice job.